Hello, participants of the First Language and Pandemic Conference. My name is Zhang He. I work with my supervisor, Professor Zhang, on the present study. She is a professor of applied linguistics at Guangdong University of Foreign Studies. This talk is pre-recorded for the First Language and Pandemic Conference on May 22nd and 23rd. The topic of the talk is multimodal stance and engagement in the science communication of COVID-19 on Chinese social media. In this study, we conducted a multimodal study chiefly based on Highland 2005 stance and engagement model. Our finding review how the non-official science communication content creator engages the public on social media platforms in the pandemic time. We found out that in this specific time, the general public not only needs scientific information, but also emotional encouragement. And by examining the interaction between the engagement input and reactions, we hope to offer a new perspective into the mechanism of engagement in science communication contents. This is the layout of the talk. And why have I chosen this topic? At the very beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak in China in 2020, most Chinese choose to stay at home during and after the Spring Festival holiday. As a result, communication became virtual immediately. So we made fun of our life during the pandemic on the social media, and we also shared serious matters on the internet. So this, the second picture is a widespread picture on Chinese social media at that time. Someone have written farewell Wenliangli on the snow ground to show respect to the so-called whistleblower for the pandemic. The third picture shows that at that time, a famous epidemiologist has become a cyber celebrity. This happened because we just were in urgent need of scientific information about COVID. So we just popularized doctor. Social media plays an important role in scientific information dissemination to the general public for its ability to reach a larger range of audience without physical contact. User-generated content has made its contribution to information dissemination and science communication. Since netizens nowadays are just habitual to rely on social media as their daily information source. The present study is a case study on the most popular science communication video on the topic COVID-19 on Bilibili. Bilibili is a leading video sharing platform in China. The title of the video is Everything About Novel Coronavirus Pneumonia. We mainly adopt a stance and engagement model for evaluation analysis. But as video are multimodal in nature, elements from multimodal discourse analysis toolkit are utilized to facilitate the analysis involving visual resources. What we are trying to understand here is how does the content creator establish their position between the scientists and the general public, and how do they engage the viewer into the content. Then let me give you some general background information about the platform. While YouTube just becoming the dominant video sharing platform in the Western world in East Asia, user-generated video sites introduced a new interactive technology called Danmu, which can be directly translated into bullet point. And this technology turns traditional video consuming behavior into interaction experience. Bilibili was founded with ACG subculture community members as its target audience, but later on, attracted by the vibrant community and novel communication and interaction mechanism, users from different internet communities gradually gathered to Bilibili and made it one of the most popular video sharing platforms in China. The most distinctive feature of Danmu system is its timeline synchronic display. On Bilibili, Danmu system enables users to send Danmus as anonymous comments. They are displayed to future viewers in the form of text bars, which will be overlaid on future viewers' screen. So the picture on the left actually shows how it looks like for a viewer to watch demo and the video at the same time. As you can see, this system affords the users to give instinct, contextualized, and dynamic feedback. The third part is methodology. First, I will introduce our data very brief. Within 10 days of the Wuhan lockdown, the video created by Paperclip, an independent science popularization content creator, was uploaded on Bilibili and soon became the most popular video on the platform. Paperclip is a multi-platform science popularizer. They are known for their modern visual presentation, clear in illustration, and unique language style. Paperclip has become one of the most successful science popularization content creators on Chinese social media. They are one of the earliest media content creator responding to the pandemic as well. So the data used in the present study includes two parts. First, the video itself, and then the Danmu pods, which contains 3,000 Danmu bars. And we see this matter from a linguistic perspective and adopt Highland's sense and engagement model from the ESP tradition, accounting for reader and writer interaction achieved through different linguistic choices. Stance deals with the writer's presentation of their self. And engagement refers to how they acknowledge the presence of the reader. Readers are included in the discourse as participants, leads through the thinking process by the writer. These two dimensions are not isolated, but rather establish and manifest the writer-reader relationship in a combination. Key meta-discoursal resources that Highlands proposed for stance and engagement model is illustrated in the table on the right. So we argue that with modifications, this model can also be adapted to the current discourse. So due to the complexity of multimodal object, we identify the resources of different modes in relation to evaluation in three ways. So first, we check the verbal scripts according to Highland's classification of verbal resources. And then, based on the definition of sense and engagement given by Highland, we examine nonverbal evaluation resources. Last but not least, we also analyzed the Danmu and sort out Danmu clusters in clear relation with methods of sense and engagement and identified the source of resources invoking those responses. So the video is divided into four parts according to the topic, namely infection mechanism, spreading mechanisms, masks, and courage. So the analysis begins with a quantitative analysis of verbal devices for sense and engagement. We annotated the script with key resources according to the categories suggested by Highland. The table on the left shows the result. As we can see by the table, the usage of both sense and engagement devices generally grows from part to part. In part 3, masks, and part 4, courage, especially in the latter, more verbal evaluation resources are used. For part 3, at the time the video was posted, many people had purchased redundant masks and were convinced that N95 masks provide better protection than any other kinds of mask. The purpose of part 3 is to inform the viewers that the masks differ from each other in COVID protection to a much less degree than they thought. And to acknowledge the opinion of the viewers, more evaluation resources are used. Directives and questions emerge to negotiate and to persuade the audience to accept the opinion in the video and give suggestions. And as behavioral recommendations, possibilities with hinges instead of facts characterize this part. The extensive use of evaluation devices can be ascribed to the topic of part 4, which is more ideological than epistemic. Titled with courage, this part focuses on the estimation of possible spreading trend and emotional comfort and encouragement towards the audience. With extract 2 as an example, the content creator recognizes the toughness of examination by using personal aside, a key reader-oriented strategy to confirm possible doubt of the viewers and to narrow the distance between the content and the viewers. What's more, reader pronouns you is observed in all parts but in part 4. where the speaker uses we solely to refer to the collective of himself and the audience, accounting for almost 2/3 of all we's used in the video. So in a sense, you draw a boundary between the two parties, which is in odd with the construction of alliance in part 4, as mentioned before. This part aims to construct solidarity among cyber community members to face and fight the epidemic together. They use personal aside and first-person plural pronoun we to construct an alliance between video creators and the viewers. When we look at this part of the table again, we can see that hinges are used much more often in the video than boosters, which indicates that to a degree, the content creator reserves the level of credibility. In accordance with our data, the creator of the video is very prudent with the information provided in the video. This probably is because comparing with academic writing, the original position of the authors of science communication is not innately with the matters in illustration. They are retailers and interpreters of researchers, channeling the knowledge to the audience in a public-friendly manner. That is why, on the other hand, the pronouns you and we are massively used throughout the video. By doing so, the speaker reduces their presence as narrator, filling the information gap between him and the audience. He positions himself with the viewer together as a companion, exploring the matter together. So after following Paladin's footstep, we also analyze Danmu as feedback. In this analysis, one sentence is not to neglect. The price of mankind is the price of courage occurs frequently in the corpus. Danmu with this same content appears 51 times, accounting for 3.4% of all Danmus, and caused a home spatial phenomenon where Danmus completely blocked the video image with intertextual content as shown in the picture on the right. The sentence is originally used in a Japanese anime television series, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The series is very popular among ACG fans worldwide, including China. And the sentence is embedded as a summary of the discussion about facing the COVID crisis directly without any explicit declaration of the sentence being a quote, but considerate number of viewers recognize it, and the familiarity with subculture meme is actually a signature of young ACG fans. And they are very proud to show off their identity. Therefore, by using this one sentence, the creator of the video appealed to their shared identity as a community with shared value to then accept the argument as part of it. To a degree, this echoes with appealing to shared knowledge from Highland's model, only rely more on identity. Combining with the other resources, appeal to courage to a degree provides emotional support directly. In that, it implies that as a member of the community, one should be more courageous. Altogether, while persuading the audience, this sentence and accompanying danmus also form an informal celebration of subcultural identity of being knowledgeable and courageous at the same time. So moving on to visual resources, according to Price and Van Leeuwen, color saturation signifies the modality of visual resources. Modality concerns with more about interpersonal metafunction, for that the truth or falsehood expressed are not absolute, but change the distance between the viewers and the statement. The absence of color is a mark of low modality. Under this view, let's look at our data in the video when we focus on naturalistic images with human in it. color saturation is used to engage and distance the viewers. In part 2 and part 3, to illustrate the transmission of the virus, images and video clips are edited to be black and white to show process while protecting the viewers from engaging with the uncomfortable experience. And then in the transition between part 3 and part 4, a video of hand washing is edited in a way that it starts without color and gains saturation gradually during the transition of the two parts. Part 3 is the last part of solid COVID-related information, which needs to be disengaged, whereas one of the most important purpose of part 4 is to support the audience emotionally, which requires the narrowing of interpersonal distance and engagement with the topic. This is achieved by alternation of modality. In part 4, not only the color saturation is normalized, but the framing changed as well. The images are larger than in the former parts, which heightening the modality and engaging the audiences with the figures of ordinary workers represented in the image. So discussion. With the analysis, we can see that by multimodal semiotic artifacts in discussion, the elements for evaluation and interaction are of great variety. Actually, we didn't discuss all the elements we found out in the talk. In addition to linguistic resources, visual resources are also used by the content creator as well. To understand these resources, Highland's model of stance and engagement is adapted, and this model is formally for verbal resource only, but we proved that it can be used in dealing with multimodal artifact. All key resources for the original model can be found in the video. And analysis with Danmu as feedback, we discovered that in science popularization content on social media, appeal to cultural identity is a very effective way to engage the audience in the content and persuade them. In our case, this is realized through the intertextuality with popular anime. The utilization of subculture meme signifies that the content creator understands its audience as a community. The strategy is successful in the dissemination of science-related information and emotionally comfort the audience. And with the affordance of Danmu system, the audiences are enabled to celebrate identity saliently and enhance the idea and emotional encouragement it brought for other viewers. We also found out color saturation are used as a dynamic parameter to modify the engagement level. It effectuated the time dimension afforded by video as semiotic artifact. The content creator controlled the distance between the audiences and the content so that they can learn the scientific knowledge and see the pandemic in a more rational way and be engaged by the role of being a courageous member of the community facing the pandemic directly. And more generally speaking, the whole video develops from basic knowledge to up-to-date information to measures of protection and eventually to estimation of further situation and encouragement. Along this way, the level of uncertainty and subjectivity just escalated. Accordingly, diversified methods of interaction are used in increasing number during the development of the content. Alongside with the scientific information, the emotional comfort it provides in part 4 is indeed very valuable, where arguments with strong logic, micro-linguistic items, and subculture memes, and modality justifications through colors forged a convincing discourse which should have a positive effect on the audience. And this could be the reason why the video is so popular among all the science communication content produced at the same period. To draw a conclusion, as a case study on science communication content on the topic COVID-19, the present study can be seen as an extension of Highland's stance and engagement model. Firstly, we found out that multimodal evaluation devices, including the universal and the cultural platform specific ones, are used to create multimodal science communication artifact and establish different distance with the audience according to the matter in discussion. Second, with feedback from Danmu, we learned that subcultural identity is appealed to lead the audience to face the situation bravely and received remarkable reaction. Thirdly, in addition to well-justified scientific information consultation is a rational but engaging way. It's also crucial for science communication content in a specific time. The content creator utilizes a variety of devices to achieve this successfully. So thank you for your attention.